Department of Geography and Planning. I would like to welcome all the different groups here in our audience, planning and geography students and those from different departments, faculty members, school administrators, members of the Capital District Planners Association, members of the Upstate APA Board, members of the press, and community members from around the region. I would also like to extend a special welcome to distinguished guest speakers here with us this evening. Congressman Paul Tonko, hopefully soon, Albany County Executive Mike Breslin, University of Albany Provost Susan Phillips, and of course, tonight's keynote speaker, Ms. Galina Techiego. We've had a wonderful day of programming here so far, as you can probably see in your bill, and we want to continue that in the same planning and geography spirit here this evening. Just a bit of a background for those who are less familiar with the purpose of this day. World Town Planning Day, celebrated each November 8th and 9th, was originally created in 1949 by the late Professor Carlos Maria de la Puebla of the University of Buenos Aires, with the goal of advancing public and professional interest in planning. GIS Day, celebrated each November 17th, was started more recently in 1998, and also has similar public goals and defines itself as a grassroots educational event that enables geographic information systems, users, and vendors to open their doors to schools, businesses, and the general public to showcase real-world applications of GIS. Since our department isn't the biggest in the world, we like to make it a little bit easier on ourselves and combine the two events. Before I introduce our first speaker, I just want to give a special thanks to the Department of Geography and Planning, and particularly to CDPA for their sponsorship of this evening's program. This is certainly a banner year for us students and a partnership with the organization. We hope to continue this partnership and plan other great events in the future, but maybe, say, with 10 or so email exchanges per day rather than our normal 30. And with that, I'll ask you to put your hands together for our first speaker, who's barely had time to catch his breath since his run-up to last Tuesday, our Congressman Paul Tonko.
Thank you, Chris, and good evening, everybody, on what is a taste of winter this evening, and that puts music to the ears of the county exec as they prepare their fleet. It's good to join with Mike Breslin and with Sue Phillips, your provost, and with Lena, and all who are participating with this great group of planners to be, the Graduate Planning Students Association, and certainly the Department of Geography and Planning. And I thank you for the kind invitation to join with you and offer a few comments, a few moments worth of at least insight and foresight as we move forward as a nation. As an engineer involved in the political arena, I embrace planning wholeheartedly. Planning for the sake of understanding our goals and planning for the most efficient and effective outcomes. If one does not plan, if groups do not plan, if government does not plan, how do we know the charging mission? We need to know the goals. We need to know the efforts that we're assembling. And at the same time, there are very interesting dynamics, very powerful dynamics, compelling dynamics that inspire us to put together more thoughtfulness as we move forward in government. Sue and I were just talking, Sue Phillips and I were just talking about the recent elections. And my opinion, I won't share hers, but my opinion is that we have moved to some knee-jerk reactions in government that are tremendously dangerous in a time when we need to be thoughtful with the complexities of our given moment and the additional complexities that the future holds. Without the evidence and impact of planning, sound planning, we will not achieve, I believe, the ultimate success that is impacted by the kind of thoughtfulness that needs to be part of the work that we do. The thoughtful planning can be the key for future communities, which will help move our economy forward, and certainly that will make a better, more efficient use of energy. I chaired the Energy Committee in the State Assembly for some 15 years. The last 15 of my 25 years of service there. And I'm now involved with science and tech in the House of Representatives in my first term. And it is absolutely essential that we have a comprehensive energy plan for this nation. And planning, urban planning, community planning statewide planning can embrace that energy discussion also. If we do not put together a comprehensive energy plan, we will have failed in the attempt to grow jobs, in my opinion, and to reduce our dependency on fossil-based fuels. The job market of the future can be strengthened by the innovation economy, by the clean energy economy, and by green thinking. And therefore, in the energy sake, for the energy sake of it all, it is important for us to put together, as I indicated, a comprehensive plan. When we talk comprehensive, we talk all sectors of the economy. We talk all sectors of energy. And in so doing, we incorporate the transportation route, in addition to the more traditional use of energy to run our factories, heat our homes, and empower our industries and businesses. In so doing, when we look at the transportation corridor, I think it's important for us to look at the most efficient form of travel. We have grown the lanes of our infrastructure out there, of our highway system. We now see roundabouts as the big thing now, taking us into suburbia. Think of all the idle time that we are incorporating and that sort of incentive that comes with all of the added incentives to move into sprawl. I think that day of thinking has got to be turned around so that when I was at NYSERDA, serving as president and CEO of NYSERDA, the New York State Energy Research and Development Authority, we talked the concept and are still working away at the concept of green transportation corridors. That would invoke a sound investment in rail, in high-speed rail, in commuter rail, that enables us then to have the hookups with the various bus fleets that might be essential, or some sort of travel that connects us from the rail into the inner community. But I think it's a way to grow a strong urban agenda, to connect again to the rail corridor that is the hubbub of the past, that can become the revitalization of our future. And it puts together a soundness of travel that allows us to use the most energy-efficient form of travel, invoking rail and inspiring the use of rail, growing the ridership. That will allow for us to be very sound, very sturdy in acknowledging transportation improvements into the future. Because we cannot continue to commit to this evidence of growing capacity on our highways. We're just going to run out of lane space. And we're going to continue to impact the environment with the growth of the carbon footprint, with global warming, and all of the factors that respond negatively to our stewardship of the environment. It also is important for us to bear in mind that as we continue to rely on fossil-based fuels, as we continue to inspire the growth of vehicle traffic, we're promoting the share of energy consumer dollars to go into the banks and into the treasuries of some very unfriendly governments out there to the United States. So I think it's a no-brainer that we, again, embrace the soundness in transportation in our planning. I would also speak to the waterfront opportunities that we have across the map of New York, and certainly this country. Recently, I hosted a waterfront conference on behalf of the 21st Congressional District community. And we did that because of the confluence that this district uses as its definition of the Hudson and Mohawk rivers. Two mighty waters that wrote our history. In fact, we've also often been quoted as indicating that the waters of this congressional district are the ink that wrote the history. And that history, that heritage, can, if it's embraced well enough, make us a stronger sense of place. Now, as planners, you want that power of place to be the outcome. And I think that as we create place esteem in a format that allows us to better understand the heritage and history of the many locations across the geography of the 21st Congressional District, we can create a stronger sense of identity, which I think is important in growing the quality of life and the impact of planning that can be felt onto the residents of any given region. With our waterfront conference, it was so successful. We had as a keynote someone from the Waterfront Center, which does international focus on waterfront discovery and development. And it was interesting to see what communities are doing around the world to incorporate the sense of water flow through their community that really uses that as the ambiance of their planning. It's the place to go, it's the place to be, the accessibility to these wonderful locations, the waterfronts will become prime, I think, as we grow a stronger urban agenda. The urban cores of this state, and certainly of this country, are the hub of heritage, of history, and of services. And if we recognize that, we have this golden richness that enables us, I think, gives us the virtue of bringing back urban cores. I have shared with the White House, with the urban-related policy people in the White House, and with policymakers in the House of Representatives, that we need to go back to a strong urban policy to enable us to take communities and build on their past, but give them cutting-edge innovation of the future. I represent a host of communities, a necklace of communities once called mill towns. They are now rusted, or at least past their heyday. We can bring back that vitality by developing a waterfront agenda. We have, from the impact of our waterfront conference, created a waterfront task force, a Mighty Waters task force, that is now putting together committees. We've assigned committees, we've structured committees, assigned membership to the committees of the 25 or so people who have joined from all perspectives, from sportsmen to business people to community leaders to planners to heritage folks, a number of people who are putting together a thought process now that will feed us the policy recommendations, the advocacy for resources, and the overall tone that can be established in allowing us to approach with a regional strategy the waterfront definition, the waterfront comeback that will empower the urban agenda when coupled with the transportation corridor concepts of green transportation corridors. I think we've got a lot of work that we can do at the Washington level, at the state level, work in partnership with our local government officials as we all put together a public sector marriage of all levels, then partner with the private sector to create the maximum outcome. But it all begins with the soundness of planning, with the virtue of planning, with the talent of planning, with the professionalism of planning. And speaking to a group of individuals who are just entering into that field, I just want to encourage you and inspire you to move forward because we need your talent more than ever before. It is important for us in the very competitiveness of this local economy to be as sharp as we can be. We can strengthen our manufacturing base, we can strengthen our innovation economy, we can put investment into industry and business, but we also need to have quality of life that accompanies that. Because when companies are looking around the world, they're going to look for the talent, they're going to look for the workforce, and the quality of life. And in addition to that, the tiebreaker can be the power of place. As planners, you can drive that agenda of power of place. Make that area that anyone wants to choose to be home as powerful an impact in their quality of life as possible. And that begins and ends with the soundness of ideal planning. So thank you for your willingness to serve as planners and for your advocacy of planning. And I wish you well in your career path. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Congressman. My name is Ben Seiden. I'm the Director of Legislative Affairs for the Upstate Planning Association, and I look forward to working with you, your team, both here and in Washington, as you promote sound planning, environmental stewardship, sustainable development, and sound economic planning in years to come. So thank you very much for being here.
My pleasure.
For those of you that don't know me, again, my name is Ben Seiden. I can't see anybody right now. This is a very, very bright light, so you didn't tell me that when I came up here. What I'm here to do here today is to first introduce a good friend of planning, economic development, and local government, and our county executive, Michael Breslin. For those of you that don't know, Michael Breslin was a West Point graduate and began to embrace strategic planning from his earliest days. What he's brought to our county in the last 16 years is an immeasurable amount of success and dedication to sound planning. When he first became a county executive, he began by looking to restructure the county government and bring to that the idea of strategic planning, business planning, and the provision of cost-effective and efficient services. During his first 2 years, he joined with John B. Anthony and Planning Associates to create an Albany County waterfront strategy to build upon the economic assets we have along the waterfronts. From most northern communities to Hoboken down to Queens, looking at ways to improve access, economic vitality, and job creation here in Albany County. With that, I'd like to introduce the esteemed County Executive, Michael Breslin, for introducing the resolution.
Thank you, Ben. I'm very happy to be here. And first of all, bring a proclamation. I am not officially by title a planner, but I have drawn up this proclamation on behalf of the people of Albany County to salute the American Institute of Certified Planners and their some 14,000 members, as well as the and the 30,000 members of the American Planning Association, for your efforts to bring to the forefront those ideas that we need all to be aware of. And on this World Town Planning Day, we have done it in Albany County as Community Planning Day. We salute you so that you might bring to us and the general public the notions of appropriate planning so that we can be better off. And what do I mean? I think the single overriding factor in this community today is nanotechnology, just around the corner here. Through what it spins off AMD, what it will do for so many different directions, and how we can, for example, keep it here. You think about why is nanotechnology, why is Semitech here, when for the last, going on 2 decades, it was in Austin, Texas. Wouldn't it have been easier just to expand right there? And had the appropriate planning been done in Austin, how could it ever come up here, is my thought. We need to make sure that we do the right planning. And we have been planning with the UAlbany, with nanotechnology, and we are working. Paul spoke of roundabouts. On the very roundabout out here in the corner of Ford Road and Washington Avenue Extension. We're going to move it offline so there'll be more land for nanotechnology. We're going to have a flyover so that traffic will be able to go right straight through on Washington Avenue, and those that have to make a turn will go on a roundabout. Eliminating congestion, wasted time, consuming gasoline, and all the things that come with traffic congestion. I also know that planning comes at those moments in time when you have the opportunity, as we have with nanotechnology. In Albany County government, we had old, really bad workspace. And over the course of a number of years, we developed new workspace, and in the course of doing that, made it so we did not have to build the number of parking slots and garages that one existed, and two, many thought would be even more increased in the future. Because we joined the CDTA on a swiper program. We were the largest program for a number of years. And it worked marvelously. Not only did we get cars off the road, we eliminated the need for parking slots, and people started moving along bus lines instead of away from bus lines. Using the infrastructure that already existed. We need to be focusing on developing the assets we already have and redeveloping where you can do that. County government is essentially health, mental health, social services, serving the less fortunate. And so much of what we do is focused on getting people safe, secure, decent, affordable housing. There are no funds that come to counties to create housing. Yes, we have Medicaid, we have public assistance, we have a whole bunch of them. We don't have any state housing. It occurred to me, though, and the people that work for me, there were so many people dependent upon the system, and they were not really making it because they couldn't find safe, decent, affordable housing. So all the public assistance, the Medicaid, and other stuff we gave them didn't allow them to get to where they should be. So we started using county dollars. And the first thing we did was identify in Albany housing along Clinton Avenue and down along the existing corridors where people lived for many, many years, where housing had been vacated but was still recoverable. We did the same thing in Waterloo and to a lesser degree in Cohoes. Those reclamation projects were dramatically less expensive than would have been new housing. It kept people where they were, along corridors, and in livable communities, livable, walkable communities. And it was through planning by members of various planning groups and our planners that these ideas bubble forth. we need to make sure that your ideas as planners get to the general public. And so today I salute you for what you have done and for bringing it to the public. And Ben, thanks again for the introduction, and I will give you the proclamation.
I'll give it to you.
I'll give it to you.
From the Radford County Student Association to receive the proclamation. During the vote, I'll take the opportunity once again to thank County Executive President for his leadership. We now have the county pushing, promoting, and supporting a regional cooperative for solid waste management. The county executive led the way for affordable housing in Albany County and has also created a GIS system going back to 1997, which allowed and promoted assistance for folks most in need to identify the jobs and then transportation assets available to them. Needs to go back and work on the budget right now. So make sure we can hear this. Before I turn this over to Ray Provost, I want to make recognition that I do have two additional proclamations. One from the county legislature who cannot be here tonight. Chairman McCoy has a county legislature meeting at 7, but would like to pass his well wishes on today, Community Planning Day in Albany County. I also have a proclamation from Ulster County Executive Michael Hine. He had asked me to read this to you. Whereas November 8th has been celebrated as World Town Planning Day every year since 1949. And whereas the New York Upstate chapter of the American Planning Association, representing nearly 900 professional planners across upstate New York, endorses World Town Planning Day as an opportunity to highlight the importance of sound planning. And whereas effective planning is essential to our quality of life, the preservation of our environment, the continued investment in infrastructure, and the economic growth in our communities. Whereas the efforts of local planners help make Ulster County such a special place to live and work. And whereas the celebration of World Town Planning Day gives us the opportunity to publicly recognize the dedication and members of the Ulster County Planning Board, our town and village and city planning boards, and other citizen planners who have contributed their time, energy, and improvement to Ulster County. Now, therefore, I, Michael P. Hine, Executive of the County of Ulster, do hereby proclaim November 8, 2010 as Community Planning Day in Ulster County. I want to thank all of our local officials, our leaders in the local state government, and our federal government for leading the charge for sound planning and helping promote planning for future years to come. With that, I'd like to introduce our great provost. Come up and say a few words.
It really is very bright up here. Thank you so much for the introduction, and it's wonderful to see the congressional delegation as well as the county delegation here. It's really my great pleasure to have you all going to take part in the GIS World Town Planning Day. I also want to welcome Galina to say how much we all look forward to hearing about repairing sprawl. As the provost here at the University of Albany, I get the pleasure of calling your attention to our outstanding faculty and students. Dare I say, I'm just going to brag a little here. At the University of Albany, we're very proud of the attention that we have to urban planning as well as many areas of urban and regional development that has been that part of our outstanding Department of Geography and Regional Planning. The Department Master's Program in Regional Planning began in 1982, but since the early 1990s has grown and strengthened considerably. More than 350 students have graduated with MRP degrees, and most are now working in professional planning jobs in the northeastern United States. The program's studio classes have an outstanding history of working with public and nonprofit entities committed to revitalizing our urban core and preserving the integrity of our rural and natural landscapes to promote sustainability, and defend against urban-suburban sprawl. For the last 3 years, the studio classes have partnered with Arbor Hill Community in Albany to improve their open space and park planning, business revitalization, cultural development, and urban infill opportunities. Other classes have been working on developing multimodal trails to increase both intra-urban connectivity and to link up cultural and natural histories. And planning studios have also been used to inform Schoharie, the Van Branken neighborhood of Schenectady, the village of Canajoharie, the town of Fort Edward, Bennington, Vermont, the town of Colony, and Saratoga Springs, to name a few. Furthermore, the faculty of the MRP program are very active in the Erie Canalway National Heritage Corridor and play a role in assisting New York regions become part of the state or national scenic byways. Such initiatives lend greatly to the regional preservation and economic development. I'm sure I've made some excellent other examples of the work of the geography and planning groups, but let me just say that the university knows that improving lives within existing cities, villages, and hamlets is a critical strategy for making our communities vibrant and viable. With community partnership as an integral part of our mandate, we're dedicated to strengthening the role of our planning in creating livable communities and enhancing our region's entire quality of life. That's why it's great to have all of you here today, students, professionals, public leaders, and our speaker, to celebrate our accomplishments and to chart the next steps in our path forward. It's now my pleasure to join you in welcoming our speaker for the evening, who will be introduced right now.
I forgot, and I'm remiss. I was so excited to be back here as a former graduate student that I've got to introduce a very important individual. We have another resolution from Rensselaer County Legislature. I'd like to introduce the Honorable Judy Brunswick, County Legislator of Rensselaer County, our former President.
I promise I'm going to be extremely brief. As a graduate of this program and a certified planner, I realized how important it is to get the planning message out to everyone. And when I'm not working as a planner, I'm serving on the Rensselaer County Legislature. And because of that, I thought it was extremely important to bring the message to them. And last month in October, at our meeting on October the 12th, we also passed a resolution in support of planning and the Rural Town Planning. And I just wanted to say thank you. You're important, and keep doing the work you're doing.